Do you know what today is? Do you know the date?
This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Justice Warrior V Infuso, and this is Halloween 4. No guys, don't worry, you didn't miss one of my videos. But considering that Halloween 3 had nothing to do with Michael Myers or any of the other movies in any of the canons, I figured we'd just move past it. Like the producers probably should have. But if it'll make you feel better, if you'll sleep better at night because of this, here's my quick review of Halloween 3. It happened. It's a movie that was made. Now let's move on. Halloween 4 is the first in its series not to include Jamie Lee Curtis, and by extension, not to feature Laurie Strode. Instead, this time around, Michael's fixation is on his niece, Jamie. Yeah, that's right. Laurie at some point had a kid, and then died in between movies. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. The answer is no. Michael didn't slash her in between 2 and the making of 3. She actually died in a car accident. In the extended universe. But we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna get into that.
That's too much, man.
When did Laurie get pregnant? Who was the baby daddy? I don't know. Probably this guy. Remember him? Yeah, I don't want to either. And yes, you did hear me right. Her name is Jamie. See guys, Jamie's still in our movie. That makes it awesome, right? No, it doesn't. If anything, that just makes the audience think, why isn't Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie? During the whole movie.
I mean, I've never met Jamie Lee, ever, so I have no idea. People make shit up all the time, so. Especially like Halloween, like those forums I stay off because I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Danielle Harris plays Jamie, and for a child actor, she's not all that bad. And she does really come across as sympathetic. And the fact that Jamie is 7 years old here, it makes her seem that much more vulnerable than Laurie ever had been. Plus, she's an orphan. But something tells me the whole casting process for this role was just trying to determine which child can scream the closest sounding to Jamie Lee. And to be honest, almost spot on. Almost spot on. Which, by the way, don't you love when movies do shit like this? Like they spin off the franchise to the next of kin, even if they were never introduced? But hey, if it worked for Tron Legacy, I mean... Another major change in this movie is Michael's mask, which is a reoccurring thing in between movies. Now, I didn't mention it in my prior reviews, as the mask was changed from 1 to 2, but considering most of the first movie is shrouded in darkness and Michael's mask is barely visible, I'd say the second movie's mask gets a pass, but also a finger wag and a very strict warning. The mask looked like it could very well be the same mask from the first one, though if you take a closer look, it's obviously not.
Is the mask from Halloween 2 from 1981. Now I know you're all going to say it, but it's the same mask from Halloween. Yes, it's the same mask. However, it's a different actor that wore the mask, so the mask seemed a lot wider this time because the actor using it had a wider face. Also, the mask was a little bit worn from filming Halloween 1, so it's got a little bit yellowish that I read anyway. It's got a bit more yellowish. The hair wasn't really finished.
This mask, on the other hand, no. Just no. That is not Michael Myers' mask. That's not even close to Michael Myers' mask. It's not like the movie explains this away by exclaiming it's a brand new mask. Because based on dream sequences, we're supposed to believe that this is in fact the same mask he'd been using in the first 2 movies. And once again, is not. Not only that, it's not even remotely scary looking. The other masks worked because they were vague and vacant looking. This mask honestly looks like he's making a derpy face. I feel like he's passive-aggressively smiling at me this whole movie. Look at that smug best. I just want to go right up there and smack the mask right off him. And I'm just gonna say it. He kind of looks like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I mean, over time, I just look at this guy and I think... Bazinga! The movie opens up in the new asylum holding Michael. And gee, I wonder how this is gonna go.
Jesus.
Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place. Welcome to hell.
Michael Myers is now in your hands.
Michael's taken out by the exposition attendants who carelessly give away Jamie's existence.
Did Hoffman say anything about living relatives?
Yeah, a niece living in his hometown.
Waking Michael and his killing streak all over again. Good job. And oh shit, is it Ash Wednesday already? Cut to baby Jamie, who's talking to her foster sister Rachel.
Rachel! Rachel! Rachel!
Who is a giant cunt in this movie for some reason. Seriously, fuck this chick. Watch these first few scenes and tell me you aren't counting down with me as to when she gets offed.
Do you love me, Rachel?
Serious questions tonight.
Like a real sister?
We're not really sisters, Jamie.
You'll have to watch Jamie tonight.
Not tonight. I've got that date with Brady. What am I supposed to tell Brady? Sorry, but I've got to babysit my foster sister. Go and have fun by yourself. But now, my future relationship, my engagement, my marriage, my children, and your grandchildren have all been wiped out because I have to babysit. Oh, joy.
Sorry I ruined everything.
Good job, Rachel. That little girl needs all the love we can give her right now. All you can do is think about yourself.
Rachel! In movie, you couldn't peddle out more exposition if you tried. Which you wouldn't, because hearing how stiff these lines are delivered, it doesn't look like anybody involved in this movie tried.
A decade ago, Halloween night, he murdered 16 people, maybe more, trying to get to his sister.
Did Hoffman say anything about living relatives?
Yeah, a niece living in his hometown.
But his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times.
I know you miss your parents. It hasn't been that long.
It's been 11 months.
Then he set him on fire. Both of them nearly burned to death.
Forget, man, she's Sheriff Meeker's daughter.
Why? 10 years ago, he tried to kill Laurie Strode. Now he wants her daughter.
But his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times.
This is the Han shot first of the Halloween franchise. Michael Myers was shot 7 times. 7. Not 6. 7. 7 times. Loomis fired 7 bullets, all of which made contact. 7. He was shot 7 times.
But his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times.
They both nearly died, but neither did for the sake of the sequels.
It's Halloween. I mean, don't you want to get dressed up in a really scary costume and get some candy?
Well, it's Halloween and little Jamie's going trick-or-treating. And gee, I wonder how that's gonna go. Just then, the Halloween heavyweight Sam Loomis shows up complaining about the release of Michael Myers, as he's known to do in these movies.
Why wasn't I notified?
About what?
You know damn well about what. You let them take it out of here. We're not talking about any ordinary prisoner, Hoffman. We are talking about evil on 2 legs. Every day I look at myself in the mirror, and every day I remember, look at me. Hoffman, take a good look.
I've said this before. I think you're the one who needs mental help.
He's aged quite a bit, and he's now rocking burn marks on one side of his face and one of his hands. And may I just say that he's looking great for a guy who blew himself up 10 years ago? No, seriously, by comparison to that explosion, that's hardly a scratch. I mean, at the very least, I think that he would be Freddy Krueger. At the very least.
I see, thank you. Apparently, there was an accident just south of Mill Creek near the Loomis.
He's gone. He was here, but he's gone.
Yes, definitely.
Now he's escaped.
You don't know that. Michael could have been thrown from the bus.
That would be inconceivable.
Michael escapes, causes mayhem, and hooks himself up with a brand new mechanic suit. So that means that that's not a choice of convenience, and now he's just setting a fashion statement. I also want to make note of how skilled Michael Myers is here. I mean, I'm serious. This is some Book of Eli type shit. Considering that Michael's blind from getting shot in both of his eyes at the end of the last movie, Michael and Loomis have an early showdown. Kind of. Not really.
Michael? You waited 10 years. Don't go to Haddonfield. If you want another victim, take me. God damn you.
Wait, where did he go? I mean, I know this guy graduated from the Bruce Wayne School of Making an Exit, but that's usually executed when someone turns away. If Loomis never turned away here, that doesn't work. I mean, unless Michael Myers has a degree from the Kurt Wagner School of Teleportation, that just doesn't work. What I'm trying to say here is, this is bad, and you should feel bad, movie.
Michael!
Wham! Bam! What the fuck just happened?
Then we head to the 9th layer of hell. Elementary school.
Your uncle's the boogeyman. Boogeyman, boogeyman. Jenny's uncle's the boogeyman.
Why are kids so goddamn cruel in movies? As far as I remember, kids didn't start acting like assholes until middle school. I mean, the first 5 grades, they were usually somewhat sweet. Not here, though. Not here, though. Here, they're all the spawns of Satan.
How come your mommy didn't make you a costume, Jamie? How could you? Her mommy's sick.
And when Michael shows up, you better surround yourselves with those kids, Jamie. Make sure they're all around you.
Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan.
Just let Uncle Mikey kill them off and have God sort them out later.
Jamie, are you okay? You remember Lindsay, don't you? Hi, Jamie.
And, oh, hey, is that little Lindsay Wallace from Halloween 1? Well, according to this continuity, it is.
You know, Rach, Discount Mart's having a sale on Halloween costumes.
No, Brady's working there till 6 o'clock today.
I know.
Hey, Wade, why don't you go ahead and make your move?
Don't rush me, Brady. Timing's got to be primo.
Told her nothing, you don't ask Kelly out. Forget, man, she's Sheriff Meeker's daughter.
Fuck off, Wade.
Back at the Halloween drugstore, Jamie's not sister flirts with her not boyfriend only to be put off entirely by the fact that she's stuck babysitting.
My parents' babysitter canceled.
So?
So I have to watch Jamie tonight.
When did you find this out?
Jamie finds herself a Halloween outfit, which also happens to be Michael's Halloween outfit from the night that he murdered his sister. I guess the new director really wanted people to think that he paid attention to the first 2 movies. It's also there that Halloween 1's Tommy Doyle is kind enough to grace us with his presence in a cameo form. There he is. And there he goes. Some of the time, it seems like this movie is too desperate to properly associate itself with the originals. I mean, some of the time, it's almost like they go out of their way to say, see? See? Remember this? Huh? Huh? You remember? I did. Apparently, Jamie's inherited her mother's memories, because despite never having seen Michael Myers, she's haunted by the memory of her long-forgotten uncle and his brand new mask. Meanwhile, Loomis is on his way back to Haddonfield to attempt to avoid a Halloween massacre. And honestly, this is a man who he goes above and beyond continually. Alright? He made it so that he and Michael could reasonably audition as the next Human Torch. And yet, at the first sign of danger, here is this man on another Halloween night. That's commitment. Question, how much do psychiatrists make? Because I doubt it's enough for this shit.
You're hunting it, ain't you? Apocalypse, end of the world, Armageddon. It's always got a face and a name.
Loomis looks to meet up with Sheriff Brackett when he's informed that he's long retired. He meets the new police sheriff, who, much like the first movie, and even the second, teams up with Loomis in an effort to take down Michael Myers. Except this time, they're not in the dark. They know exactly who Michael's going after.
Why? 10 years ago, he tried to kill Laurie Strode. Now he wants her daughter.
And then we have these hicks. Just accept them. They're part of this. A little bit. Kind of. Somehow. But let's just continue.
Martians could land on Ben's doorstep and all he'd do is spit once and get himself a shotgun.
Hey, you. This is city property. No trespassing.
On Halloween night, Michael plunges the entire town into darkness via murdering a man. And I don't know that that's how that works, but I'm not an electrician, so I'll allow it. 2 dogs dead now? You know what? I'm starting to think it wasn't even an accident in the first movie. Maybe Michael Myers is a cat person.
That clown costume's really cool.
You think that makes things better? I'm still calling my uncle on you. You're dead. And to make matters worse, Tom Cruise Kevin Bacon has been cheating on Rachel with the sheriff's daughter.
Blew off for a date at the last minute.
So you hop on to the next best thing? I thought you were different from other guys.
Oh, I'm different. It's just that I just got pissed off.
Well, of course, this deserves her full attention, and she loses sight of Jamie. But things are quickly resolved, as not only do they find each other, but they're also found by Loomis and Sheriff Not the Honky Tonk Man. And they're immediately ambushed by Michael. Multiple Michael.
Hey, don't shoot!
Why is that such a popular Halloween costume? I know that they wouldn't intentionally sell a serial killer costume on Halloween night. Like, I can't imagine just walking into Party City and being like, hey, yo, guys, give me that Ted Bundy costume. You know, like, I don't think that that's how that works. So what is this marketed as? You know, like, what is that supposed to be, if not Michael Myers? Like, in this world, reasonably, what is that supposed to be? VTards, best answers in the comments. They don't have to be true, but they do have to be funny. Before heading for backup, only to find that backup isn't coming. Or is it? Because here comes the cousin-cuddling cavalry. And they will do nothing for the major part of this movie.
How many people killed back then? How many kids?
Al here lost his boy 10 years back.
Well, not this time, Ben. I'll handle this my own way.
And who was his kid? Was it this guy? I bet it was this fucking guy.
Son of a bitch, you just created a lynch mob.
You haven't got a police force!
They head back to the sheriff's house and barricade the doors.
Oh no!
Rachel is forced to look at her two-timing ex and his new girl, the sheriff's daughter. But they soon find that they didn't lock themselves away from the killer. They locked themselves inside with him. Michael decides to add a few more notches to his prestigious kill belt, taking out the deputy and the sheriff's daughter. Hey, it's kind of like that old Bob Marley song. I stabbed the sheriff's daughter and also the deputy. At least I'm pretty sure that's how that song goes. You know, don't quote me though. Check AZ lyrics first. They got everything. As Rachel, Brady, and Jamie learn of their lives being in danger, Michael closes in on them. Brady, feeling a redemption story arc coming on, sacrifices himself. And actually, let me take the time to applaud this. He was shown to be a cheating dickwad who was more motivated by the head in between his legs than the one on his shoulders. And yet, he still cared enough about Rachel to defend her to his dying breath. It's pretty interesting to see a somewhat three-dimensional character in what is otherwise your standard good person, bad person horror flick. And honestly, that's the kind of realism you don't necessarily expect from movies around this time period. You know, showing that he's not actually a bad guy, but just a very, very selfish one. Michael follows Jamie and Rachel off the roof relentlessly. But at least he takes the time to stand around being creepy so Jamie can get away first. So thanks for that. Did someone say Uncle of the Year? Because Michael definitely didn't. Old Man Loomis runs into Jamie. Now, let's be honest, the man walks with a cane, so he hobbles into Jamie before they decide to take refuge in Jamie's school.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Ben will be safe?
Yeah.
You don't believe that, do you?
No.
Holy shit, Ben Tramer's back and he's pissed about being killed off in Halloween 2! Actually, it's just the reshoot mask, and it clearly shows. Michael shows up and puts Loomis through a fucking wall.
God is my witness, I will put you through that fucking wall!
Well, actually, it's a door, but I wanted to use that clip. How the fuck? It's just hitting me now, but how the fuck does Loomis survive all of this? You know, far too often do we talk about Michael Myers and his inability to die, but has anyone ever stopped to wonder why Loomis is impervious to death? I mean, this guy's been blown up, he's been thrown through fucking walls and windows and shit, he's been stabbed, and he's old as fuck. What's keeping this man alive? Everyone always says that Michael is a supernatural force, but I'm starting to think that Sam Loomis is the real supernatural force around here. The scene is somewhat reminiscent of the chase scene in Halloween 2. Except again, Michael disappears in a very non-specific way. You know, at least in the past, there was a rhyme or reason for his teleportation act. I mean, you felt like he was preying on his victims. And he also only did it when they weren't in arm's reach. Here, he takes out Loomis, and instead of just going after his niece, he decides to play hide and seek with her. Once again, do I hear Uncle of the Year? Eventually, Rachel, who is notably not dead, comes to save the day. The rednecks show up a moment too late, and eventually become filler kills for Michael. You know, while he's trying to show up to surprise his niece on Halloween. Because he's a good fucking guy like that. That's who he is. Rachel at the wheel tries to shake Michael off the roof, but to no avail. Until she stops short. When he gets back to his feet, she rams him with the truck, leaving Michael unconscious as the police arrive. Jamie is ordered to stay in the truck, which she obviously doesn't listen, because everyone knows if you tell a kid to do something, instinctively they'll do the exact opposite. That's why I always tell my kids to go do crack. So keep them away from that shit. And also, I don't have kids. She holds her murderous uncle's hand. I don't know, maybe she wanted to invite him to a tea party. I have no fucking idea at this point. And really? Fucking really? Come on, we're doing this shit? This, a shootout? This is bad. I mean, this is really bad. I don't even have words. This is bad. I know it's not really expert commentary, but what else can you say to this? This is a horror movie, and this dude is carrying a cartoon gun that looks like it's been fused with a laser blaster. This just is not the imagery that I'd expect to see in a Halloween film.
You got me, partner.
This is pretty piss poor, actually. This shot in of itself has brought the entire movie down at least 5 stars in a rating system that only goes up to 5 stars. Michael is shot a whole bunch until he falls down a mine shaft, and that's it. That's how they killed off Michael Myers in this movie. He gets shot, and then he falls. Why would anyone, and I mean anyone in any context, believe Michael Myers is dead? We're talking about a man who ate 7 bullets and then fell off a balcony. A man who was blown up, set on fucking fire, and he still lived to kill again. Why would anyone in the movie world, and in real life reality, as an audience, believe that that was the end of Michael Myers? Suspension of disbelief out the fucking window. What the fuck? Also, I thought the idea of bringing a killer back from the dead would be that you have to kill him off in a bigger, more spectacular way. Do you really mean to tell me someone thought, you know what, let's just throw him down a mine shaft, and they thought that was better than him fucking exploding? They return home only to find that Jamie's inherited her uncle's Halloween havoc. Halloween 4 ends the way the first Halloween began, and that's enough to scare even her foster father, Alex Jones. There's a boy! There he is! There's the guy! And the final shot of the movie is Jamie wearing her Harlequin Halloween outfit, holding a bloody knife as Loomis screams no repeatedly, reliving his greatest nightmare all over again. Well, you know, his greatest nightmare before Rob Zombie got put in the director's chair.
The wrong photograph! I mean, this is old, Loomis. This is new.
And holy shit, what a powerful ending. I mean, sure, the build-up to it was muddled, to say the least, and Michael's death scene was quite possibly the worst death in any horror movie ever. But that ending alone makes this so interesting. I can't wait to see how they follow it up in the next movie. I wonder if it's half as good as the way that Friday the 13th played up Tommy Jarvis becoming the Friday Killer. Overall, Halloween 4 isn't the worst Halloween. Far from it. That title is proudly held by Halloween Resurrection. And then that's followed by Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and Halloween 6. So it's a far cry from the worst. But make no mistake, this movie is entirely unnecessary. It goes out of its way to unwrap story threads that the first two movies wrapped up and put in a nice bow. I mean, this movie just dismantles them and then tries to stitch and scotch tape everything back together like you wouldn't have noticed. The inclusion of Tommy and Lindsay, Jamie's Halloween outfit, there's so many things to this movie that just makes me feel like it's trying to be seen as a legitimate sequel to Halloween 2, and not just some cheap throwaway film that shares its title and killer. It has its ups and downs, and there's parts of it I will admit are just meh. But outside of Michael's death, I think it was a pretty solid movie. Nothing great, but nothing too terrible either. I enjoyed myself. Honestly, more than the story, it's some of the performances that really put it over the top for me. Donald Pleasance, the man who played Dr. Loomis in these films, brings such a performance and energy to his character that even when watching the movies in the series that become a tough watch, he stands out as a beacon of hope in such dull or otherwise shitty movies. He alone for a while made this series worth watching. It's so strange to me how most people label Laurie as the hero of the Halloween franchise, when it's pretty clear that Loomis had that title long before and for a much longer period of time. Honestly, I wouldn't even say that Laurie was remotely close to heroic until Halloween H2O. But don't worry guys, we'll get there. Another impressive performance comes from Danielle Harris, who was head and toes above and beyond the type of performance that you'd normally get from a child actor. She looks genuinely petrified every time she's on screen. She emotes well, and I do believe that she's in danger in every scene that she's in. While she's no Jamie Lee Curtis, quite frankly, she's kind of a smart replacement, and she played her part pretty damn well. So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free dollar to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that dollar, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
VTart, oh.